I do not know.
Morning. Welcome to the Pick-A-Dee Pick Show. I'm your host, Anvil, a.k.a. Dan. Let's get rolling here. First off, dedicating this show to a good friend of mine, Jerry, who passed away. Was a couple years ago, but him and I did a lot of fantasy, nearly 2 decades of it. Pretty much as long as the Patriots were a dynasty, had been doing fantasy football together. And whenever he and the guys would come over for football, or really for anything, horse racing, soccer, basketball, just hanging out, playing poker. Always flew the Welsh flag right there. Boom. Got that one day when I was working at the Port of Long Beach. They had a bunch of flags that had been retired sitting in a cabinet, and I grabbed a bunch of them. So that's my story of the morning. Let's get into the picking here. This isn't just about trying to show you what players to choose, because there's a lot of information for that, but my way of doing it maybe is a better way of putting it. So, I know it's not a popular opinion, but I start with my defense, because I know that that's the team that I'm going to be able to count on. I'm not really going to want to compromise too much there. Not really sure why the Patriots are sitting at the number 2 spot there. The Browns, again, I don't see Cincinnati making a lot of them. They're showing some averages. I disregard averages. I look at opponent rating. The Kansas City Chiefs are playing one of the worst teams. I could save $400 there, but I really have my mind set on just playing against the Jets. Kansas City is going to be in Denver. That's going to be that altitude. The Cleveland game is going to be a slugfest. New England's not that good of a defense. I have the Chargers starting in my own season-long league. 49ers, I'm not sure. Don't think they're going to generate a lot against San Francisco. Coming into it, I was going with the Bills, and I'm just going to stick with the Bills. This is going to be $5,000. It helps frame my ticket. It tells me where I can go. So the next thing, along with defense, another really unpopular thing to do, and you never draft this way in season long, but I'm going with my tight end because, again, I'm trying to frame my ticket. I'm trying to put in the picks that I don't think I want to change at all. So you look at Kelsey. He's sitting up at the top. He's very expensive. But what catches my eye right here is that Hawkinson is going up against the 31st team in Atlanta against, that's their opponent rating against tight ends. I do look at that you lean on something like that, because that's going to be where you're going to cause mismatches and stuff. But, trying to figure out who really knows how to cover that position goes into it. Again, other factors. I really like Kelsey at Denver. If this was at Kansas City, I would be all over it. But I do think I'm going to take a little bit of a risk here, and I'm going to go with Hawkinson. I have a feeling that if he's going to have a big game, it's going to be against somebody like Atlanta. I want to check his previous game here. He had 2 receptions and a touchdown. That scares me a little bit, because he already had one. But I think if he's going to have back-to-back touchdowns, it's going to be against somebody like Atlanta. It's going to be kind of a shootout there. He's I don't know how to do this, so I'm kind of messing up right now. There we go. So we just close him. I usually use the phone. It's much easier. I really recommend it. So we're going to select Hawkinson as our tight end. And the little plus button there. So he's in as our tight end. All right. Sorry for that. Now, we've kind of got a little bit of our framework going here. So now what we need to do is we need to build on the quarterback position. Couple things that jump out at me. Mahomes, again, the defense up there is used to playing in the altitude. And $200 savings to take a risk on Josh Allen. You know, Russell Wilson running into the Cardinals, Murray running into the Seahawks. I find both of those to be a little bit disconcerting. Got a couple of other guys down here. A lot of times I do like to try to save on quarterbacks, but you know, that's a risky place to do it. But I am playing Hey Bear. A little too much hockey sometimes. I do like him at home against the Jags. I'm just Kansas City, Denver. It has me a little bit worried. Allen against the Jets. I don't know how much he's going to have to do. You know, that therein lies the problem. I don't know how much he's going to really have to do to beat them. And sometimes that really affects their points. So for now, we're going to put Mr. Hey Bear in there. Now we're going to move on to our running back. You know, another place where this is where you got to spend money. You know, I mean, I think Kamara's going to be busy as heck. Carolina, as you can see, is 32nd against the run. I really like that matchup. And again, this is where we're going to have to spend money. We kind of know where we're going. We know we're going to have to delve and save a little bit of money here. I'm looking on here because I really don't like the way this is set up. It's set up completely different than the phone. So right now our average is down to 64 for our players. So that's a little bit concerning. That takes us out, but look who we've got. You know, we've got our running back who we really think is going to do well. I don't see a lot of top guys here that I feel we've got to really work in. So you're going to have to scroll down a little bit, you know, and you start looking. And you're looking right here in this column, the opponent rating. You want somebody who's going to perform, you know. Josh Kelly's, it's not going to be him. Lot of buzz on Kenyon. Yeah, I can see it. I mean, Kenyon. But again, going against Seattle, it's not a risk I want to take. Justin Jackson's been getting a lot of buzz, but he's a little bit banged up right there. You know, you go over to he's expected to play, but banged up. It's only going to take one hit. You know, therein lies the problem. It's only going to take one more hit, and then he's not going to want to play. You know, I'm not a huge fan of Gurley, but you look at that opponent rating and you say, okay, 6,600. That's right about our balance right there. You know? So we're going to hit him. Look at that. So we still got some. Now we got to get into receivers. This is where you're going to start seeing a lot of more along the lines of value picks. Now what I want to do here is I want to see if I can save up to get one of the better players. So we got to start down by the bottom here. Chase has been lighting it up. Edelman, whatever happened to you, man? Yeah. Do we want to go a double up with Mike Williams? You got to start thinking about these things, you know. You like the matchup for your quarterback, you know. He's a cheap play. Not seeing a whole bunch down here that just jumps out at me is like, oh, yes, we're going to jump all over this guy, you know. Kirk had a big week last week. Not sure if he wants to repeat. You know, 2 touchdowns. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to repeat those types of things. You know, a lot of guys that you can reach on, but again, when you start getting down into these Cole Beasleys and Randall Cobbs, you know, and Beasley's one I am kind of high on. You know, you got to think like, let's start a little more towards the top, and see what kind of money, see how far we have to drop. You know. I do like, at 5,900, I do like Williams in this game. I like the quarterback, so we're going to do a double up. Okay. Still only got 66 to play with. So again, let's see what we can find down here. We've been through here. We've looked at it. Kind of had stuff sitting in the percolator. And that's what you got to do. You got to do the percolator, you know. I do really want a piece of something going up against the Jets. You know, I saw we're really into the Larry Fitzgerald, one of my favorite players, but I don't know if he's got it in him. You know, especially against Seattle. This is gonna be a tough game. You know, he hasn't gotten a touchdown. Believe it or not, I'm a big believer in things like that. People being due. You know, I get opponent ratings there. They're gonna have to cover a lot of other guys. Seattle is. So let's take that. Trying to save up for that really big wide receiver. So now we're up to $7,400 average. See how it works? We only have $1,400 left. We don't want to go too crazy on anything, you know, because it would put us in a hole. We need to have solid players at every position. Let's go up to that 7,400 right there. See what we're starting to look at. Oh, Diggs. I did say I wanted a piece of Buffalo, so we're gonna put Diggs in. Look at that. We're now down to our flex player. Makes it very simple. You know, we know what our budget is. We got $7,400 to play with. Too much second guessing in this can get you killed. Mixon would be sitting there, but wow. Now that's an interesting development. We really like a running back at flex. I mean, if you got a receiver, you know, if you've got a receiver that's really high on your list and you haven't worked him in yet, you know, that's a good place to go. I don't see really. Well, I'm looking at my ticket right now and I'm thinking, okay, if I can cut a couple $100, you know, I can get Chris Carson or I can get Mike Davis. You know, I can maybe even reach even higher and try to get up into the hills and the things like that. But I have players in there that I already like. My budget's really not going to allow it. I don't want to take too much of a drop off. I've already saved big bucks on Fitzgerald, you know, and I've splurged at running back and at defense. So I think I'm going to stick to that budget and really let that guide me. Connor's been playing all right. You know, he had a touchdown. He had a reception. I had 100 yards, you know. You know, he's going to see a lot of action against Tennessee. But I have him in other leagues. So I also got to think, well, this is going to be a very tight game. See, right there, they're saying he's their running back 3. Their favorites, they got the 8th highest team total. So you're looking at a scoring game, you know. They don't list the over, but the team totals are high. So that seems like a good one. But again, he's coming back from a rib. So I want to look down here. We don't want to run Clyde into there. Not touching these guys. Yeah. This is where you got to start relying on your gut a little bit and some of the superstitions. See, in one of my main season-long leads, I have Connor and I have Lockett, and I'm not too strong on them. Connor is a great option, though. On the road, I think they're going to use him a lot, but Kareem Hunt just seems like he could potentially have a bigger game. Defenses are about the same that they're facing. Not to mention, it'll give me 3 predators at running back. And, you know, I'm superstitious. Sometimes that's what it takes, you know. In horse racing, you don't hit the wild long shots, usually by picking them out of a form. You get them because they have a name that somehow relates to you. I've hit huge horses in major races. One famously, Giacomo. It was like a Breeders' Cup or something like that. My grandfather's name. You know, he was from Italy. That's why Bergamo was my number one team. But, you know, that's how it is. I play a lot of double letters, but never if there's two. So, like, you know, like Ace Angler, you know, double A's. You know, I like that. Freaky Frank. You know, we look at our team here and we go, wow, we've got a lot of predators. And I dedicated this show to my boy Jerry, and Jerry and I always had a predator on our team. And our predator was, for a lot of years, was D'Angelo Williams, and he's now on Amazing Race. So sometimes you just gotta like let the stars speak to you, and I mean that. I mean, I know there's other people out there who they care about telling you what player's hot, telling you, you know, who you should play or why you shouldn't play this player, or, you know, but there's a lot to gambling. If you're not going to put in 20 contrarian tickets, then, you know, you got to rely on mysticism to some degree to try to come up with these weird combinations. You know, because sure, you could play 100 tickets. You know, you lock the thing down. Play 32 tickets, all with different quarterbacks. I don't know. For me, a lot of this is for fun. I like to make money. I'm up for the season. I don't have much of a balance, but I started out with $10. That was my challenge. My days of heavy gambling are over. Yeah. So we're going to submit this ticket. I hope you learned something. I hope you had a laugh or two, maybe at my expense. And, you know, until next time, happy picking.